Alright, what we're going to do now, since it's dried up and everything is in shape, we're going to start pulling out the nails, and we'll pull out the tissue in the nose. We'll push in these pins and pull some of these out. We'll put a little bit of wax in the eyelid where it's pulled apart, just a millimeter, and we'll take off these plastic plates and we'll show you how everything's dried and everything stays in position. Okay, now that we've got that part done, we're going to start on the nose and pull out these tissues. This nose really kept its shape and really turned out really neat. Really cool looking. Alrighty, what we're going to do now is we are going to take out the nails. You can use a hammer or some pliers to pull them out. Make sure your hide is hard and set up. And then next we'll be taking out our paper sheet. Watch out for the nails, don't prick yourself, and then we'll do some grooming. Okay, this part here is as easy as taking it and lifting up. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to groom him a little bit, and a little trick to grooming. If you brush down kind of across the grain of the hair, it'll make it kind of flow and puff out a little bit. If you just do it down like this, you can really see the comb lines and you can tell it's comb. So just, you know, grooming to your liking, I guess, and when you think you're done, just stop. And you don't have to worry too much around the face, but just do this, and this will, you know, get your hair to sit and keep them all flowing together. If you look hard enough here, you can see some pins still showing, and that's from the corner of the eye, and that's where they've kind of come out. We can take a tool or some pliers and just push the head of that pin. Just tuck it a little more for the last time. And what we'll do is we'll paint over that spot and wax it. And do the same thing to the other side. Alright, at this point what I like to do is I like to examine this gap right here where the lid has come apart from the away from the eye. This is set up really nice and has only come out just a tiny little hair. And what we'll do is we'll take some 2-part clay, and that's all you need right there, just a little bead. What I do is I take my tool and push it down in that gap and make his lid and make the wet look. You can use wax. I use this because it's a 2-part clay and it hardens, and you know it's not going to move, or with the weather it's not going to shift on you, the temperature of the room. And we'll do the same thing to the other side, and we'll use the same stuff to kind of build up the lip over here. Just a little bit. And a lip is a pretty controversial topic when it comes to how much is showing, because you don't want the deer biting his lip. You don't want too much lip hanging out. So we'll find a good medium and finish this right up. Now it looks messy right in this stage, but if you take your tool and get rid of that excess while you push down at the same time, you'll just get a nice fill right there between the eye and the lid. And kind of make it to where it doesn't really show. And then what we'll do is we'll paint it too, and do the same thing around the eye on the other side. Okay, this is where it gets pretty fun. You can see how discolored this looks. Now we've got the light brown kind of up here, and we'll lighten it up a little more when we get to painting the whole thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of sculpt our lip just a little bit, and that'll make it all smooth, because when that lip dries it wrinkles, shrinks, and does some other crazy things. But it's pinned. This lip's not going to be going anywhere, so we'll start with our bead of little strip of clay here. It won't look like nothing until you take your tool and you start building it up. You want it pretty wet so you can manage it here. You might have to add a little more clay on this other side. But keep sculpting her and taking a little bit off if you have to with your nail. Kind of tuck it back in here under the mouth just a little bit. I just put a little dab of, you can kind of see it showing up actually on the camera. Just a little dab of this brown here. All the way kind of on the lower pad. And then just blend it kind of on up here. You can use your finger. You can do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Alright, at this stage, I'm painting the eye. I do something a little different than most people. I actually hand paint it, just so I can get real deep down in there and do some intricate work. So just keep, dabbing it in here, filling all that white or whatever clay you use at the top of the lid up here, up under. It looks like I'm painting the eye, but when you're cleaning that up, the simple solution to that is to just get a Q-tip and clean it right up. So now our eye is finished. Do the same thing to the other side. Okay, now we're at the point where we can do the last couple finishing touches of this deer. We're going to start epoxying the nose, and we're going to make little tiny bumps on there with a toothpick or a small nail, and give that nose its lightly bumped look. If you make them too big, what will happen is it'll start to run together. So we got the eyes, painted and finished. The nose is all painted. The ears, the bottom lip, tear ducts, everything's all painted. So once we get those done, we'll put on our clear coat, and this deer will be finished for the customer to come pick up. Okay, mix your epoxy or whatever you want to use on the nose. You can see right here, you can mix it on just any piece of cardboard, but it looks yellow right now. It'll clear up when you apply it, so don't be afraid to put it on there. So make them fairly kind of close, but use your reference picture, figure out how exactly you want it to look. And just do that all over the nose. Kind of fade out. Don't do it so much when you get towards the bottom. Just do it kind of towards the top. And a lot of people don't do this, and that's fine, but I do believe the less that you do, the better it looks. So you can always add too much. So we'll keep doing this to the rest of the nose, and we'll go and put our clear coat on. Okay, that's as far as we went on that. You can see we just did a little bit up here at the top, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do any more. Okay, what I'm going to do now is our last step, and that's going to be slightly hitting the nose with this clear coat, the eyes, and the ears just a little bit. and we'll just do a little bit in the ears, just a tad. Another thing I wanted to show is if you look real close on those whiskers, with that epoxy you can just get a little bit on there, and you can make it look like he's got mist on his whiskers, and it'll stay and it'll dry. Don't do it too much, but it looks really cool. Okay, now we've got the deer, and soon our customer will be here to pick up his mount. Hey Ross, how you doing today?
Pretty good, man. Dude, it looks good.
So this is Ross Huff. This is the individual who's harvested this deer in 2008, was it?
Yeah, 2008. It's pretty cool. You guys want to imagine this is my original cape from 2008. They took good care of it for me, and it looks awesome.
So that's cool for him to be able to tell everybody. This was mounted about how many years after he shot it?
About 3 years.
About 3 years after he shot it, and it's the original cape. So right now, me and Ross will take some time to look over his mount, and we'll come back and have a little word with him. Before we let Ross go with his deer, we're going to have him tell us and share a little bit about the hunt and the story, so we can share it with all of you. So Ross, go ahead and tell us how you harvested this deer.
Well, like we said earlier, it was back in 2008, and it was actually the last day of shotgun season, rifle season, and I hadn't had a very good year. I had one small doe, and that was it. I hadn't seen a buck yet. And a buddy of ours named Hinkle said that I could hunt some of his property up in Cass County and let me sit in one of his really good stands. And I got in that evening pretty early and saw some smaller bucks and stuff and didn't want to shoot them. And then heard something coming through the woods pretty quick, and he came sprinting into an open path that I could shoot to, and I just yelled because I couldn't think of nothing else to stop him, and he stopped, and I threw my rifle up and got off a shot, and he turned back and doubled back, and well, I thought I'd hit him, but when I got down there and looked, I didn't see any blood or anything, so I called my dad to ask him to help me come look, and he came back and we looked, and there was no blood or hair or anything where I shot him, and needless to say, I was a little upset, and I didn't think he was quite as big then, but you know, I thought he was about an 8-point or something, but I knew he was a nice buck. And I was a little upset, so I wanted to just walk back out to the tracks that we walk in and leave. But
yeah, he wanted to go ahead and leave. He was pretty upset.
Yeah, but my dad convinced me that we should just walk back through the woods, and thinking we had enough daylight to shoot, we might jump him again and shoot him.
Yep.
And I'd say about 150 yards, we just dipped through a little ravine, and we're coming up, and heard my dad go, "There he is," and I didn't see him or anything, and I'm looking around, and I got my gun up ready to shoot again, and he goes, "No, he's dead." And he had jumped over a log, and just on the back side, he died, and all you could see was about this much of his antler sticking up, and we got there, and he was dead, and even when we got there was only about a fistful of blood there, and the exit wound was actually right up here, which you can barely even tell on this. He stitched it up so nice, you can't even tell there was anything there, but couldn't believe it didn't have any blood on that deer. But
what weapon did you shoot it with?
I shot it with a 44 mag rifle, Marlin. It's a good gun. It's proved itself pretty good in the last couple of years. It's been a good deer round.
Yeah. And how many deer did you harvest this year?
This year is another good year. I shot 5 all in Cass County, including a 9-point buck, and those are all with this 44 mag rifle, and did the job on all of them.
Throughout this season, I was getting phone calls in the tree stand. Hey, I got a couple deer down, and he really put a hurting on them up there, and they've got some good property up there, and you can tell. This is up north in northern Indiana.
Yeah, in northern Indiana.
And you can tell this is just the epitome of a great deer. And I really want to thank you, Ross.
Hey, thanks a lot for mounting, man. It just looks awesome.